the show podcast, the official podcast of minor league baseball, is back, and we are as jam-packed as this show has ever been as we welcome you into the Stan Musial conference room on the 6th floor of MLB HQ, along with Sam Dykstra and Benjamin Hill in person. My name is Tyler Mon, and we are joined by two of our longest tenured buds at the MiLB landscape, in Kelsie, Heneghan, and Josh Jackson. First things first, fellas, it's good to see you in person. How are things? We were to pull back the curtain. We were like, how are we going to record this thing? Because ordinarily we're in different spots. We have different, microphone setups and all that. But this time I'm literally going to two in on Zoom. This is a very technologically impressive setup today, Sam Dykstra.
I think we have to let the audience decide whether it's technologically impressive, because we'll see how this is going to handle with 4 different streams going right now, and we're really testing the Wi-Fi of this connection. But this is one of my favorite things we get to do each year, is get everybody together, talk about the season to come in a different way. Sometimes we've done predictions, we've done a draft in the past. But that was long enough ago that some things have changed. Obviously, players have changed, some names have changed, some stadiums have changed. So we'll get all into that in a second. But first, Ben, with high A, single A, double A all starting this week, we got a full season slate starting on Thursday. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right. It's always a stressful time of year, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel, the light being a full season of minor league baseball. But it does feel like a tunnel, the off-season tunnel. And we're getting out of it and getting the rest of that opening day content out into the masses. Going to get my road trip schedules finalized and move forward with grace and aplomb from here forward. So, yeah, I'm feeling all right. But, yeah, the day this podcast comes out, it'll be opening day part 2, I suppose. I believe there are 46 teams starting their season on Thursday, and then everyone will be playing. All 120 teams will be playing for the first time in tandem. Maybe not every game happening at the same time, but they all have a game on Friday. 120 teams, 60 games, and that's when it's officially official.
And Josh and Kelsie, you guys have been mentioned, but we haven't heard from you guys yet. First off, happy full season opening week to you both. How are you both doing?
Hey, yeah, good. We've have 5 opening days this year, and this Thursday is number 4 and Friday is number 5. So I'm excited to celebrate each one.
Yeah, the same here. It is, yes, the tunnel at the end of the off season does begin to feel very narrow and a little dark and dank. So yeah, it'll be great to come around the bend tomorrow and now I'm mixing metaphors, but it'll be great to get out into that light we're seeing of the full season and really sort of get back to doing what we all love to do and having the games go on, having something to work with.
We are getting close to opening day 2026, the final editions on Thursday and Friday. And we are going to reprise something that we have done in the past, in which we're essentially all going to draft a minor league baseball franchise in various categories. And we're going to make these like amalgamated Frankenstein teams that I love this idea. This is a Sam Dykstra joint. Sam has come up with this. And we did this, I think, for the first time, it's been a while since the first time we did it. But Sam, explain the parameters. Obviously, we'll be back next week with a more normal episode, and we'll talk about season debuts, and we'll talk, get into the weeds of the opening week with Ben, and we'll do all that stuff. But we get to sort of honor the wacky landscape of minor league baseball with this draft. So, Samuel C. Dykstra, please run us through. As the commissioner of this draft, please run us through.
If I was the commissioner of this draft, I think the draft order would go very differently, and we're about to set that here in a minute. But just to set the parameters here. So we are going to be drafting a minor league city, a minor league team name, and their logo set, their primary logo set, because we're also going to be drafting alternate identifications, then stadium and prospect. So city, name, alternate ID, stadium, and prospect. Now for city, name, alternate ID, and stadium, teams cannot be repeated. So if, as some of us might predict, Josh Jackson gets the number 1 overall pick, chooses the great Northeastern city, the great Eastern League city of Portland, Maine, The Sea Dogs are off the board for name, any of their alternate identifications, and Headlock Field is off the board. We will not take Prospect off. That's its own separate segment. We mostly know where everybody's starting the year. Not everything's confirmed yet. We just don't want to get that all that complicated and all that. But we want the best prospects to be available. Any of these categories can be chosen at any time. So you want to be a little bit strategic. If you think there's a certain stadium you definitely want, go for that first. If you're worried about it being stolen as a city or something like that, you have to think about who's coming after you. We'll also be doing a snake style draft. So whoever goes first, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So just because you get the first pick, it's going to be a while for the draft order to snake back to you. So in total, there are 5 categories. There are 5 of us drafting. There will be 25 total picks. In theory, we'll be talking about at least 20 different minor league teams, logo sets, alternate identities, all that kind of fun stuff. And it's just a great way, I think, to get things going, to get everybody back refreshed for the season to come. It's a long one ahead. Like you said, Tyler, we got tons to talk about starting next week. But for now, let's just have some fun with it. This question has already come up, so I will bring it up too. In terms of city and stadium, you're getting everything involved with the stadium. If it has a cool backdrop, you are getting that. We don't need to think about this too hard of like, oh, where would you drop the home of the Charlotte Knights into Nashville if they were playing? Don't worry about that too much. Just take what's fun about these places. It's just to generate conversation, generate us talking about our favorite things in minor league baseball. And we'll leave it to the folks at home to use their imaginations on how this all kind of comes together. I'm especially excited to explain how some of these alternate IDs work in some of our cities and some of our team names. Maybe there will be some themes. Maybe there won't be. Maybe there'll be a lot of randomization. But in general, we're exploring the fun and wide nature of minor league baseball. So with that said, I have typed all of our names into random.org to set the order here. So Ben, you can be the ombudsman here and keep me on top of my game and let everybody know that I'm telling the truth. The number 1 pick in this year's 2026, the show before the show, minor league opening day draft is Kelsie Heneghan. Number 2 is Ben Hill. Number 3 is Josh Jackson. Number 4 is Tyler Mon. And this really does keep me honest. I will be drafting 5th. So I will have the turn. I'll get both the 5th and 6th pick. So that order one more time: Kelsie, Ben, Josh, Tyler, and Sam. I will be putting all of our picks into a doc here so we can keep track and keep things moving. That being said, Kelsie, you have the first pick. What are you picking first?
I mean, when I was doing draft prep, it became very clear immediately what my number 1 pick would be if I were to get the number 1 overall pick. And so I am picking the Tulsa Ranch Dippers in alternate identity because I love dipping things in ranch. I do. And the fact that Tulsa is celebrating this, I already own a shirt. I bought a shirt from my best friend who made dipping ranch and pizza popular at Colgate University. So it's a very special thing to me. My brother-in-law this morning said, "Who are you going to take in the draft? Are you going to pick Tulsa?" And I was like, "Actually, I am, because I'm going to pick the Ranch Dippers." Again, you can dip pizza, wings, carrots. Ranch is great. The first time I had COVID, I realized it sucked because I couldn't taste ranch. I dipped carrots in ranch and it was bad, and that sucked. So yeah, starting off strong with the Tulsa Ranch Dippers in alternate identity.
That's my pick. And I get any category I want, huh?
You get any category you want, Ben.
Well, because it's my weak spot in terms of overall knowledge, let me just get this out of the way. Sam went right to prospect on his list.
What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say stadium is one of you where you don't know as much?
Yeah. Let me get that prospect out of the way, and I'm going to go with Max Clark. Detroit Tigers. He's going to be in Toledo with the Mud Hens this season. I met him in West Michigan with the Whitecaps in 2024 and found him to be an engaging, well-rounded, thoughtful individual. So he gets some heat on social media for being a little cocky, a little too big for his britches, as they used to say 100 years ago. But I'm rooting for Max Clark and excited to see what he can do in AAA and very possibly this season in Detroit.
I'm already thinking of the Ben's Biz Max Clark chain giveaway that would happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's so many possibilities here with Max Max Clark. He's a good face of your minor league franchise. All right, Josh Jackson, you are up next.
I'm also going to shock the world by starting with prospect. And for me, I am picking Liam Doyle of the Cardinals. He's a left-handed pitcher who has some real filth to him. I joined the cult of Liam Doyle last year when Pitching Ninja was sharing a lot of Doyle content from his starts for Tennessee. And then he was drafted 5th overall. But yeah, he has a lot of personality that you like to see in a pitcher. He's like intense and chippy and fun to watch. And yeah, his stuff is nasty. I believe he'll likely start at Springfield AA. Yeah, Sam's giving me the thumbs up. So that's my pick. Liam Doyle, the prospect, the left-handed pitcher, to start off my draft.
Back-to-back player picks in the first round. I'm like, oh man, do I follow the trend? It's like when you see a run on, left-handed college guys. You're like, do we have to get on that trend? I think I'm going City first, though. I think I'm going to grab. Wouldn't it be funny if I drafted Portland, Maine right now, just to get at Josh Jackson? No, I am going to go City, but I'm going to go to a place that I have never been, but very much want to go. And our good friend Tyler Zickel works there as the voice of the Vancouver Canadians. I'm going to go with Vancouver, BC as my city. I feel like it's a big league level city with, by all accounts, an incredible ballpark and awesome franchise and front office. So the home of the Vancouver Canadians. I'm claiming all of Canada as my minor league baseball franchise territory, Sam.
Yeah, there's one truly international city on the board, and it goes to Tyler Mon with his
league either. Although it could be, I guess. I could maybe, put him in there for 8-hour flights.
A lowercase I international league.
Right. Exactly.
The Northwest League is an international league. It is not the international league. Maybe in future years we'll have to draft leagues. Yeah, we didn't throw that in there. But maybe that's an idea for 2020.
I'm putting the Vancouver Canadians in the Florida State League.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's have fun with this. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
You guys know when the International League was last truly international?
Early? No, actually.
Ottawa
Lynx 2007.
2007. I was
7.
going to say 2000, but I was thinking further west. Ottawa Lynx.
All right. Well, the board seems pretty wide open to me here. And with my first pick, you know what? I may have done this before, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go team name, and I'm going to go with the one that is just truly minor league and gets everybody thinking about the minor leagues. It's one of the true blue minor league team names. Let's go with the Durham Bulls as my team name. We're just going to draw everybody in. Everybody's going to know what that logo is. They're going to want to show up. They're going to want to buy merch. We don't get the Lollygaggers alternate ID. That's now off the board. Durham, North Carolina, off the board. Lots of things off the board here. But we're going to play as the Durham Bulls. And we're going to try to make as many movie references as we can with that team name. And then for stadium, you know what? This is going to be pretty funny. I think I may have made this pick last time too, but I'm going to stick with it. My stadium is going to be Brooklyn's Maimonides Park. We're gonna play at Coney Island. The Durham Bulls are coming to Coney Island. It's going to be pitcher friendly. I get it. I haven't drafted my prospect yet. I might want to go away from a guy who's got lefty power, aiming for the beach. The rides in the background are going to create havoc for hitters. I get it. But man, there's no more truly Americana place to play, I think, than Brooklyn's own Coney Island. So Maimonides Park will be my stadium, and my team name will be the Durham Bulls. So those are the two ones off my board. Tyler, we send it back to you.
Okay. Great choices. I think I'm going to go to a team name next. And I'm going to go to one, Ben, that we actually talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, one of the oldest team names of minor league baseball. I'm going to take the Asheville Tourists, who've been around for over a century. And just like what a perfectly minor league baseball name, and one that's old-timey, quirky, and fun rather than new age, quirky, and fun. So I'm going to go with the Asheville Tourists So the Asheville tour is playing in Vancouver, British Columbia. That's my first couple of selections. Wait, now we're going in reverse order. That means you next, correct? No, it means Josh next. Josh, sorry, Josh. Josh, you're up.
That's all right. I'm ready to go with my alternate identity. And I am pulling the Wichita Honkers, who are have a really cool logo. I have a weird thing. I love the bird logos. No, it's a bird. It's a bird, by the way, I should say. It's the geese. The geese are the Wichita Honkers, to specify. And the logo, I think it's a pretty clever, funny logo. I mean, identity. It's there's apparently a problem in Wichita where geese are they take over the roads and get in a lot of arguments with people, and block traffic. They call them the city's unofficial traffic controllers. So the honkers name there, like honking the horn in traffic, that's like a little bit double-edged. So I'm rolling with the Wichita Wind Surge's alternate identity of the Wichita Honkers. That's the Wind Surge are the AA affiliate of the Twins.
All right, Ben, over to you.
I'm going to go to ballpark. And I'm going to go to a ballpark that I visited last year for the second time, but it's been a lot of years, and I just reminded how much I truly love the environment close to Tyler and Vancouver, though that's a city, not his ballpark. But I'm going to Spokane for Avista Stadium. That ballpark was built in 1958. It was actually built in a rush to accommodate the Dodgers AAA affiliate in conjunction with the Dodgers moving from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. So there's a lot of history there going back to the 1950s. They had one of the greatest minor league teams ever play there in the 70s with the Tommy Lasorda managed AAA Dodgers. And just an incredible atmosphere there. Great mix of old and new. Great Pacific Northwest woodsy backdrop when you're up in the upper deck of the stadium looking around. Great front office. Great partnership with the Spokane tribe with the Salish language script on the jerseys and the signage. Just a great place to see a game, and I feel compelled to promote it.
All right, Kelsie, now back to you at the top of the draft.
All right, I got two picks. So the first one, I am going to go with team name, and I'm picking the Birmingham Barons because it's such an iconic franchise, an iconic logo. I mean, you have obviously Michael Jordan, but you also have Willie Mays and Satchel Paige have worn that, and they played for the Black Barons, which is a similar logo. And then you also have Britney Spears wearing the Birmingham Barons hat in the Everytime music video. So iconic up and down. Had to pick that. That's a great name. And then for prospect, originally I wasn't going to pick prospect this early because it's kind of like a quarterback. Like there are 5 great prospects. Like we could all get a top 10 prospect. But I might as well now that he has slipped so far. And I'm going to go with Connor Griffin, the number 1 prospect in baseball. He's number 1 for a reason. He's got all the tools. But it's been really interesting watching him at Indianapolis so far in opening weekend because he's had a lot of doubles that you wouldn't think are a double, but he runs really hard out of the box. He also tried to stretch a double into a triple and got thrown out at third, but I really appreciate that. And he's going hard. He doesn't have to go that hard. Maybe he's trying to prove something that he didn't make the opening day roster in Pittsburgh, but I think he's great. Obviously, he's ranked number 1 for a reason. So I'm going with KG.
And one thing I want to point out here real quick, and I think this gets to that with Connor Griffin, is that we are choosing prospects who are opening in the minors. So nobody can take Kevin McGonigal, JJ Weatherholt. That's something we agreed to ahead of time because this is a minor league draft. But for anybody who's sitting at home being like, have you watched Kevin McGonigal in the majors? It's like, yes, he is a major leaguer. He is not a minor leaguer for the sake of this minor league draft. All right, Ben, back to you.
Wow. Back to me already. I'm going to go with my city. And man, Spokane would have been a great city to choose from as well. You know what? I'm going to mix things up. I'm going to go with Rochester, New York. It's my city because it gets a bad rap. You know, it was called grim and depressing in a New York Post column a couple of years ago, and the team, the Red Wings, did a whole grim and depressing promo night around it, including with some awesome like Grim Reaper, grim and depressing merchandise. And I like that they leaned into that while also celebrating what it is about Rochester that's not grim and depressing. And I've always enjoyed visiting that portion of upstate New York. You got the original home of the garbage plates. You've got the Eastman Center, which I believe our friend Josh Jackson has gone to see some vintage film. There was a great like avant-garde noise fest like over the course of 3 days I saw listed last year, and I was like, man, there's some really underground music happening in Rochester too. So let's not just pick the obvious cities. Let's go to the grim and depressing places and prove to ourselves that they're not grim and depressing. Rochester, New York.
All right, Josh, you're up.
I just want to say yes, shout out to Rochester, New York. I do like that city. I like that part of New York State a lot. I know that, like a lot of places up here in the northeastern part of the country, there's a lot of the year where there's sort of like no sky. Everything's just gray forever. But anyway, I'm gonna go somewhere else that's maybe often gray, and pick my city, and I'm gonna go with Tacoma, Washington, the home of the Tacoma Rainiers, AAA affiliate of the Mariners. I'm grabbing that partially because I can pop over and visit Ben at Spokane at Avista Stadium from Spokane. I can shoot up to see Tyler in Vancouver, and it's I think gorgeous part of the country, sort of Seattle right there, but also if you head west and northerly, you get Olympic National Park. So there I am, Tacoma, Washington.
All right. I'm having very much a similar problem as Ben, where I'm looking at my team name and my city, and I'm like, oh, both of those would have been good stadiums also. But now I got to get a stadium that's separate from that. I think I'm going to go to a place that I have not been to. None of us has been to, but the brand new home of the Richmond Flying Squirrels, who open CarMax Park in 2026, just based on literally everything that the Flying Squirrels do. I'm assuming that this place is incredible. It's going to seat 10,000, and it opens for this 2026 season. It's been a long time coming for that team, because when the Flying Squirrels moved into Richmond, it was partially because the Richmond Braves left due to what they said was like a too dilapidated version of the Diamond, where the Flying Squirrels have played for the better part of the last 15 years. So they finally get their own park, their own venue, and a place that a lot of people have been waiting a long time to see. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going CarMax Park, and maybe sometime soon I will actually get a chance to make it to CarMax Park, which leaves the man himself, Sam Dykstra, for picks, I don't know, whatever this is, 16 and 17 or something.
I think it's picks 15 and 16. So you were close. We were close. We're not, this is not a math draft. That would be fun. Draft us in order of our math capabilities. All right. So I already have name and stadium off the board. Ooh, I feel like I should go city. And Asheville, North Carolina would have been a fun city to take.
I know. And I thought about taking it as a city, and instead I took the name. I probably should have. It's such a great city.
Yeah.
I did really picture that for everybody. I'm sorry. Sorry, Asheville.
Birmingham would have been a good one too, because then we could have gotten into the Rickwood game. Like we would have had a Rickwood game for me. So Kelsie, I'm upset that you stole that as well. Maybe I'll have to sit on that one a little bit more. I'm going to go alternate identification. We're going to go back to the Northwest League. This is pretty Northwest League heavy. Not in a bad way. I think they're doing good stuff up there. But I'm going to do the Sonia Doris Day Hillsborough. And you people can't see this at home, but Tyler Mon is angry and throwing a fit in the corner, as he often does when I'm speaking. So why should today be any different? But Sonia Doris, it's just basically about dreamers. And I love the color scheme. I love the thought behind it. It's their Copa de la Diversión identity. It's like with the wolf howling at the moon. There's just so much good things happening with this, and I love the message behind it in terms of people dreaming and trying to make it in this country. And I think that's a good message for today. It's a good message for any time. So Sonia Doris Day Hillsborough will be coming with me as part of the Durham Bulls playing at Maimonides Park in Brooklyn. Oh man, I forgot. I still have another one here. I got to figure out where all these things are coming together. You know what? I'm going to go with my pick for Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee will be my city. And I know Nashville comes up a lot in discussions because, Major League expansion, it could be something that's around the corner. And a lot of people look at Nashville as a potential expansion franchise. What would that mean for the Sounds? Hopefully that means they stay in a good place. They have a great ballpark. That's now off the board too. They have a great name. They have some really good alternate identities there as well. But Nashville, Tennessee, it's just a place people flock to, right? Like they like coming to Nashville. We're going to get some of those tourists, not in Asheville, but in Nashville. But we're going to get people who really obviously love baseball. Vanderbilt's right there. There's just so much going for Nashville, Tennessee that I think, could help spread some of the word on some, again, somehow we're making Coney Island work in Nashville. That's a tourist dream, I think. Our 4th of July game is going to be off the chain. So excited to play all of these games in Nashville, Tennessee. That is my pick. And now we go back to you, Tyler.
Yeah. Which is I'm down to prospect and alternate identity, which are like the two. Why did I leave like the two hardest things? All right, I'm going to go prospect first, and it's probably not going to surprise anybody. I got to go with my guy, Travis Bazzana, the Australian superstar, the first overall pick in the 2024 draft. If I didn't draft Trav, I would feel really bad. So I'm going to go Travis Bazzana, partially to make sure that he doesn't get away. Also partially because the people in my draft room in my brain need more time to figure out what we're going with for alternate identity because there are like 1,000 that I'm trying to choose from. So that's where I'm going. That's my penultimate selection, as Ben Hill would say, which gives us two. Joshua W. Jackson.
Hello. I'm back again, and I'm going to pick my stadium. And the stadium I'm picking is Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. I think that's a great park. I like the Tower Bridge view, the Sacramento River being right there. I have not been there during the era when it's also hosting major league games, so I haven't seen it really in the form it's in these days. But it makes sense that it's all the more busier because it really is a great park and a great place to see a game. And Ben, you are up now. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with my alternate identity, or as Sam would say, alternate identification.
Thank you for calling him out on that.
I don't know. I thought first reference we should maybe use long.
Yeah. I appreciate that formality, and it does.
I thought Benjamin Hill would appreciate calling it alternate identification.
It's alternative identification. Is the proper name. And it reminds me, of course, of one of the greatest Norm Macdonald jokes of all time. ID is a funny abbreviation because the I stands for I and the D stands for identification. Norm Macdonald, RIP, greatest comedian of all time, in my opinion, and many other people's opinions. He's not an American. He's a Canadian, but I'm going to go with the deeply American alternate identity. Our pals in Somerset with the semi-quincentennials, because as everyone knows, America is celebrating. You might not use the word semi-quincentennial, but America is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year. There's a lot to celebrate. I know for a lot of people, it brings up larger interrogations of how they feel about the country. And I just feel like this is a big country with a huge story, and you can approach it from any angle you want, but let's celebrate it. And I like that semi-quincentennial. One, it ties into the Somerset Patriots. They're already the Patriots because the region, Central Jersey, is Revolutionary War history. And semi-quincentennial also gives it a sense of minor league fun because you're choosing this ridiculously long name. I think the longest name basically ever put on a jersey for a team name, semi-quincentennial, SEMI-QUINCENNTIALS, the semi-quincentennials. It means 250.
That is a long.
I think that was part of their goal, but it is after we had that conversation.
Is it going to be like? I'm going to have to look up like what the actual uniform is. That's whoever's got to sew those. That's a lot of work.
But that was one thing that came up a lot, right? Is that the longest minor league team name in history?
Yeah, and we couldn't find anything larger.
That said no. Yeah. To shoot it down.
They went with very tall, narrow lettering. That's the way you got to go. That's pretty smart. Like a tall, narrow font. That's smart. Otherwise, I don't know how you fit that on. You have to wrap it like elbow to elbow, like Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, right. It also looks like one of those like visual puzzles that used to be on the back of the Magic Eye thing. That's what I was looking for there. All right, Kelsie, you have your next 2 picks, which I believe are your final 2.
They are, yes. I thought about that one, Ben, for Somerset, but then I was like, what if I mispronounce it? So I just decided to stay away from it. Okay, all 5 of my stadium options are available somehow. So now I have to actually make a decision. And I think I'm going to go with, like Tyler, picking a new one. So I'm going to pick Ontario's ONT Field here in Southern California. I haven't been there since it's been completed. I drove by when it was first under construction, but I keep hearing it's like major league quality. It's a brand new stadium, so it's got to be good. Ontario is kind of an interesting town, so I'm intrigued to see what it's like inside the stadium, but it looks really cool. And it will have that new park smell. So happy to choose that. And then for my last pick, again, a lot of my options are on the board. But I think I'm going to go with Round Rock. It's near Austin, so everyone loves that. It's a good area. Richard Linklater works a lot with Round Rock and the Express. They did like a special night for him because he's from the area. Dazed and Confused was takes place in the area, so like maybe he'll want to work with us. That would be really cool. Um, yeah, Round Rock, keep it weird. Let's go.
Oh, and back to me for my final pick, and that would just be the team name, correct?
That's correct. That is correct, Ben, which I feel like you strategically left to last so you wouldn't offend somebody out there.
Yeah, and of course I was just jumping around all over the place with what to choose from because there's so many to go with. And I'm going to go for a newer school name as much as I love the old, but one that I just felt really worked from the jump. Hartford Yard Goats. It's for the 21st century, grandiose era of minor league baseball branding, which kind of culminated with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. We saw a lot of crazy names come out in the 2010s, and Yard Goats just for me always fit. The goat logo, the bat in its mouth, like it's just one more thing that a goat happens to eat. Happens to pick up a bat, representing the baseball. There's a train terminology backstory to it that I forget the specifics of, but doesn't really matter. It's the Yard Goats. It's resulted in a lot of great branding for the team. Great organization out there in Hartford. Great ballpark too. Someone could have picked that, but someone could have picked a lot of things. That's the great thing about something like this. We're always leaving a lot on the table. There's always the road not taken.
And not to paint Josh into a corner here, but I feel like we've gone pretty old school in our team name picks so far with Birmingham Barons, Asheville Taurus, Durham Bulls. So Hartford Yard Goats, I think, fits perfectly in that hole that we needed filled there in terms of newer team names and some of the wackier stuff that's obviously happened in the last few decades. All right, Josh, you have 1 pick remaining, and it is team name. What's it going to be?
Well, I mentioned earlier that I have a penchant for picking the bird identities. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Fayetteville Woodpeckers, who have that great woodpecker logo. I believe that's a pileated woodpecker, the way it's got the red up top. And yeah, I just think that's a really good looking hat. So there I am, Fayetteville Woodpeckers. And next we'll be hearing from Tyler, who has to pick an alternate ID.
I do. An alternate identification. I did not. In case you're wondering if the time I was tap dancing to try to pick one was going to work out for me, it did not. I am going to pick one, and honestly, I'm going to pick one that I don't know if it's still technically an active alternate identity, but it was as of, I think, 2 seasons ago. And in doing some checking, they're still selling gear for this alt identity on the team's website. So the Gwinnett Stripers have played as the Atlanta Black Crackers, which is a reference to a Negro Leagues team that played in the Atlanta area in the early part of the 20th century, into the middle decades of the 20th century. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there is still a field in Atlanta. It's like a public park that used to be the Atlanta Black Crackers practice field, which is kind of cool. So I think that's going to be the teams that honor their local history are some of my favorites. Teams that honor Negro Leagues history are my favorites of my favorites, because I think there are so many cool ways that you can spotlight the players and the stories that came before you, and help to lay the groundwork for where you are in your baseball world as a franchise and as players and as fans. And so even though they may not have played as this alt identity last season, I'm going with Gwinnett, and I'm going with the Atlanta Black Crackers.
Well, let me jump in real quick, Tom.
Yes.
June 19th, Black Crackers.
June 15th, they're back. Welcome, Gwinnett. Nice work. So that's my final pick, which brings us to the final pick of the draft. Sam Dykstra has the distinction today of picking. What's your last category? Oh, whatever it is, blank irrelevant. It's not Mr. Irrelevant. Although, it is a prospect. It is Mr. Irrelevant.
It is Mr. Irrelevant for the sake of this draft, not Mr. Irrelevant for any case of his prospect status or anything like that. I do find it a little ironic that I am the last person to choose a prospect. Maybe that's just because I wanted the whole gamut of prospectum to choose from. Can I just take the field? Is that you guys? You guys get the four you chose, and I get everybody else. No, it doesn't quite work that way. I am going to go with who. Oh, boy. I am going to sit here and go back and forth. You know what? I guess I have to continue the bit, and it hates me that I'm doing this because it has become a bit on multiple channels, multiple podcasts, multiple different mediums. That I am very much a Jesus Madej guy. Now, I want to note that I am saying it Jesus Madej. I have for a long time said Jesus Madej. A lot of people wanted his name to be Jesus Made. But the Brewers, Biloxi, part of the spring breakout game, it's been a lot of people correcting his name, that the emphasis on his last name is on the second half, on the DE. So it's like Madej, not Madej, Madej. I'm going to fix that moving forward starting here. So Jesus Madej is my pick. Milwaukee Brewers prospect, shortstop prospect will be beginning the year. It will be beginning the year at AA Biloxi, so we'll get to see him this week. Somebody who got to AA Biloxi, obviously last year, skipped over the complex league, completely single A, high A, double A. He's fast tracking his way through the minor leagues, checking every box along the way. I think there's a little bit more question of is he a shortstop? Is he a third baseman? Is he a second baseman? The Brewers locked up Cooper Pratt this week in an extension that I think shocked a lot of people. They really like his defense, so maybe Madej is the guy who moves around, but somebody who's got really quick twitch nature at the plate, can hit for average. I think the power is going to come. He's got speed. Really, really exciting prospect. The number 3 prospect on the MLB pipeline, top 100. This is going to be his age 19 season, which is crazy to think about. We'll see if he can keep pushing through the upper minors and maybe debut in Milwaukee by the end of the year. But under this, I want a full summer of Jesus Madej. So he will be coming to Nashville, which he might be coming to Nashville in the second half of this year as a Nashville Sound, but he'd be coming as a Durham Bull under my fantasy team name here. So that's 25 picks. Well done, everybody. That was pretty quick. You moved through that really quickly. Let's run through our rosters, however you want to call this, our draft picks. We'll go in order, starting with you, Kelsie. Let's go city, team name, alternate ID, stadium, and prospect, and just get all of ours out there. And we'll chatter a little bit more about how we feel about it.
All right, so in city, I went with Round Rock. In name/logo, I went with the Birmingham Barons. My alt ID is Tulsa Ranch Dippers. My stadium is in Ontario, the ONT Field, and my prospect is Connor Griffin. So Ben, who do you got?
Yeah, well, I have the prospect Max Clark in the Detroit Tigers organization. The stadium, Avista Stadium, home of the Spokane Indians. My city, the not so grim and depressing Rochester, New York. Alternative identification, Somerset Semi-Quincentennials. And team name and logos, playing in Dunkin' Donut Park in Hartford, the Hartford Yard Goats.
And this is Josh, I should say, for all these listeners out there in Radioland. I have drafted my Tacoma, Washington as my city. I am bringing the Fayetteville Woodpeckers there. We sometimes play games as the Wichita Honkers, and we play in West Sacramento's Sutter Health Park. And our ace is Liam Doyle.
But real quick,
How did you say that town name where the Woodpeckers play, Josh?
Yes, that's what I wanted to get back to.
Oh, yeah. Well, now I don't know.
I couldn't tell if it was a bit because he did the first time.
You know what's funny is technically any city that we call Fayetteville is named after the Marquis de Lafayette. But you said Fayetteville as a very accurate depiction of the name, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I think I always get it wrong. It's like one of those ones where I know that I tend to do it not right, so then I start and think about it, and then the cycle of now I like which what. All right. Anyway, let's hear from Tyler.
Okay, my amalgamized minor league baseball franchise will feature Travis Mazzana suiting up for the Asheville Tourists in Vancouver, British Columbia, where they will sometimes play as the Atlanta Black Crackers in Richmond's CarMax Park. And I'm pretty excited about that squad. Again, I've never been to Vancouver, haven't got a chance to see CarMax Park. But yeah, I like that combination. I got like some old and some new. I'm happy with it. And for the final, a guy who I'm very happy gets to read out his own things because I still don't know how to say the name of this ballpark in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so my city will be Nashville, Tennessee. My name and logo set will be the Durham Bulls. Our alternate ID will be the Soñadores de Hillsborough. My prospect will be Jesus Madej. And my home ballpark will be Brooklyn's Maimonides.
Yeah.
Maimonides.
Maimonides, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got married in that ballpark, and whenever I talk about it, I'm like, it was the Cyclones ballpark.
Maimonides.
Anyways, we're playing in Coney Island. We are bringing the beach and the rides and all of that to Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to have a country music flair with a 4th of July Coney Island hot dog. Somehow we're getting Nathan's involved still. I guess there is Nathan's inside the ballpark, so we're going to still count that. But it's going to be a pure carnival atmosphere there in Nashville. All right, so now that we have all the picks out there, does anybody feel like they drafted with a theme or anything that really bounds their picks together or some vision that they want to put out with their pick set?
I think my stuff is pretty regional with Round Rock, Texas, and Birmingham and Tulsa, and Connor Griffin he's from Mississippi, right? Yeah. So that's mostly one region, and then I got Southern California, so it's a little different, but we're bringing that. That's the one thing that's moving. So I somehow accidentally picked a region.
Yeah, 3 of my 5 categories are kind of regional: Southeast, Asheville, Atlanta, and Richmond. But then logistically, it's going to be very difficult to coordinate because then I went Vancouver, which is as far away from all of those places as you can get on the minor league baseball map. And I took a prospect out of Australia. So although he does play here, it's not like we're going to have to, fly him in for every home game with Travis Mazzana. But yeah, I feel I was sort of honing in on a regional thing, and I butchered that. Oh, I guess my first pick was Vancouver, so I butchered it out of the gate. But I'm still happy.
The international.
We'll have to pay to make the logistics work, but I think we'll make it work, Sam.
Sure. Yeah, that's coming out of your pocket though for paying to make it work. Yeah. One thing I will say, like our city picks, which are again Round Rock, Texas, Rochester, New York, Tacoma, Washington, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Nashville, Tennessee, pretty well spread across the map. I would say. Yeah. We did a good job of Tacoma and Vancouver are pretty close to each other, but otherwise, if you put a pin in each of these places, the map would hold up.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be curling in certain sections. We got the Pacific Northwest, we've got the Southeast, we've got the Northeast, we've got the heartland of Texas. I think that works pretty well. Prospects, pretty much, they're all top 100 guys. I think they're all in the top 20 or top 25 anyways, and Liam Doyle. And then the stadiums, we went a little West Coast heavy there, not in a bad way. I do like that there are 2 new ballparks here in Richmond and Ontario. And then, Josh, I like that you picked Sacramento because that's a park that obviously is now a major league stadium, at least temporarily. So it's been exposed to everybody else. A lot of people generally understand how that's going to work. I wonder if that means Josh's Fayetteville Woodpeckers have to work with the A's.
Fayetteville.
He's renamed the team.
Yeah.
They are now the Fayetteville Woodpeckers playing in Tacoma. So does the city name really matter?
I should have just gone with the Great Lakes Loons.
There was an option available to you in the avian category that you overlooked. But yeah, anything else to add? Anybody else feel like there was an honorable mention, something that they really wanted to pick? That I'll throw one out there. Like, I think last time we did it, Rocket City Trash Pandas came off the board pretty quick. And in that way that it's always the name that gets brought up to us a lot in terms of wacky minor league teams. Like, isn't there a team called the Trash Pandas of Huntsville or something? People generally understand that one unpicked this time, which is fine, spreading the love to other areas. But anything else that anybody was close to picking but didn't?
I will say in almost any category could have gone with the Eugene Emeralds, either as name and logo, Eugene, Oregon. They have multiple alternate identities that are awesome. I haven't been to Eugene. What is it? PK Park, I think, in Eugene.
Yeah.
I haven't been there, and I've heard it's great, which I know there's sort of a ballpark situation there with the University of Oregon, I think, owning that stadium. But yeah, like Eugene's got the Monarchus as their Copa identity, but then they also have the Exploding Whales, obviously, which is preposterous. Their just standard logo and identity is great. And Eugene is amazing. I don't think anybody picked Eugene, which is sort of wild. We didn't get a Eugene pick at all.
I mean, there were only
a Gene pick, like that Seinfeld episode.
There were only 20 teams that we could really choose from. So, literally 100 that are left on the board. Ben, you have Frozen Iguanas up.
Yeah,
on your screen.
Well, that was actually for something else I was working on, and it just happens to be what's on my screen. But I was thinking about Palm Beach Frozen Iguanas, certainly for the alternate identity. I like that there's not too many alternate identities that come out of the Florida State League, and the fact that the Palm Beach Cardinals, who haven't done that kind of thing before, are really committing to it with, I believe, a dozen Frozen Iguanas games this year. I've always been a El Paso advocate, so I kept.
I almost picked El Paso for my city.
Yeah, so the same way that Tyler was saying we skip Eugene, I think like, El Paso is a tough one to overlook completely, but that's the nature of an exercise like this. Is like there's just too much.
Yeah, I was surprised nobody picked Salt Lake or Charlotte for either city or stadium, just because they've always been considered the best views in baseball of both Salt Lake's old stadium and new stadium, and then Charlotte has that city view. So I thought those were going to be off the board early. We also didn't pick the pools, like Las Vegas has a pool. Sam knows well that Frisco has a lazy river.
I was trying to stay away from that at all costs. So thank you for reintroducing.
So we could link to that. Yeah. And then for Alt ID, Tri-Cities, Copa name is the Vineros did Tri-City.
I feel like I've picked that one. I feel like I've picked that one in almost every. I love that one. The alt identity is so good. The logo is so good. And I even looked at it. I was like, am I going to do this again? So I'm sorry, Tri-City, I love you, and I pick you on an annual basis. But I did leave that one out this year.
Yeah, I mean, winemakers, who wouldn't want that as part of their repertoire?
I thought, Ben, the Palm Beach Frozen Iguanas, I thought were going to be a short, early off the board team. And also the Utah Dirty Sodas, I thought would go pretty quickly, which is an alt ID for Salt Lake.
There's just too much scandal right now with mom talk and the Bachelorette to talk about Utah, I guess.
That's definitely what I was thinking the entire way, is just avoiding mom talk at all costs. What I will say is, if you are listening at home and you feel there were some honorable mentions that we missed out on here, and there might be something that you're screaming into your podcast device, wherever you may be, email us, podcast@milb.com. You now have the field. Yeah. You can't repeat any of our cities or teams, but you have everything else available to you. So how would you build your team? What would your city, your name, your alt ID, your stadium, and even your prospect be? Send us your teams. Maybe there'll be some overlap for what people send in, but we'll share some of our favorites. You can obviously, send us your ideas on social media too. All of us are on Blue Sky. Ben is still active on Twitter. I'm still using Twitter. Send us however you can find us, and we'll get those out there. Maybe we'll share more of our favorites next week. But play this at home and play it with your friends. It's a great way of trying to understand everybody's tastes. There were some things that I wasn't even expecting to get drafted, which I think is really fun. And I know there are a lot of minor league fans who gather together. It's something to do. The fourth through the sixth inning, just play this game wherever you may be spending opening weekend. Any other final thoughts from the group before we close out the 2026 edition of the Show Before the Show minor league opening day draft?
The only thought that I have is we're in a really good and fun baseball era right now, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, and we've talked about it a lot just between all of us. But if you're somebody who you haven't gotten a chance to go to a minor league game over the last couple of seasons, or you're not living super close to a minor league ballpark or whatever, but you think, all right, maybe this summer we'll do it. Maybe we'll make a road trip. Go for it. Baseball is in such a fun and awesome chapter. There are more cool ballparks, more awesome alternate identities, more amazing food, more incredible prospects. Baseball is just in such a good spot. And minor league baseball is the most accessible version of it. And if you have the opportunity, go check it out. We're obviously 5 minor league baseball lovers for real deep reasons. And I'm excited to go check out some minor league games at some point this summer. I know Ben and I talked last week about it. This has to be like the year that I finally make it to El Paso. I've never been to El Paso, which means if I'm going to go to El Paso, I might as well go to like Amarillo and Midland and Albuquerque and do all that kind of stuff. And that's how a minor league baseball trip gets started and then turns obscenely long. So that's going to be my plan at some point this year.
Yeah, let's just kind of expound on that in terms of, and I'll ask everybody else to kind of maybe share a goal of like what they want to do in minor league baseball this year or something they want to see. For me, I think it's just expand, add a few new ballparks, whether that's through the MLB pipeline, prospect showcase game, or just getting out to a few new places this year, trying to expand a little bit on the West Coast. For me, I know it's a little bit of a travel to get out there, but there's a lot of Northwest League I haven't seen. I was talking to somebody with the Blue Jays a few months ago, and they were like, man, you got to get out there to Vancouver for Canada Day. It's one of the most fun experiences, obviously, that I got drafted today for Vancouver, but it's just one of the cool minor league experiences. Obviously, the Blue Jays have their version, but the Vancouver Canadians very much have theirs as well. There's a few other opportunities this year. Field of Dreams game is back. Games at Rickwood Field are back. There are special opportunities, but there are also just regular games and new parks to see. So I think expanding my minor league map a little bit this year was going to be a goal for 2026. Josh and Kelsie, anything that comes to mind for you guys?
Kelsie and I were having a who's going to go off mute first off, and we both sort of paused out there. Can you guys hear me? Everything's frozen. I don't know if this is recording or not. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Kelsie. Yeah, I'm just really excited to get out to more games more often. I for a couple of reasons, the last couple of years have been kind of hard for me to get out to games, and I think I'm going to be able to do a lot more of that this year. So I'm just really excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. And I definitely would like to, like I said, Ontario is not too far from me, so I would like to see that. But I think, like Josh said, like sometimes you can't travel, sometimes you can't go to all these stadiums for one way or the other. So I think that something that I want to focus on, especially in my job that's mostly social media, is how do you bring these ballparks to the fans who are not able to go? I mean, obviously Ben has been doing this for decades of show the fans at home what this ballpark's all about. So kind of thinking of new ways to do that and to bring these ballparks, to bring these prospects, to bring these cool hats to the fans at home and kind of celebrate baseball across the country and Canada. I think people talk a lot about baseball being a regional sport, but especially in the minors, there's so many things to celebrate across the landscape. So I think that would be something I want to celebrate and focus on this year.
Ben, bring us home.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I say a lot of the same goals the last couple of years, and then I feel self-loathing when I say the same goals, and I say, did I accomplish those goals or make strides towards them in other years? I don't know. But one thing for me is that, like all of us, I've been a baseball fan for my whole life, and I think in recent years it's been harder for me to just be a baseball fan. I just feel too immersed and sometimes too stressed out about baseball as work that I forget baseball as fun. Even if my work projects baseball as fun, I might not have been having the fun that I'm trying to project. So one, just to have fun no matter where I am, and always keep in mind, like, dude, this is still pretty cool. Get out of your own head and enjoy it. But also to find things throughout the course of a season that are not professionally based. Go on little road trips with my family. I really want to, go to a Reading Fighting Phillies game, maybe Lehigh Valley. We went to Williamsport last year at the very end of the season to see the Crosscutters and had a good time with that. So integrating that kind of thing more into the summer, because things get so busy with our work lives, road trip schedules, juggling family and life obligations, that sometimes just being a fan takes a little bit of a back seat. And I think it's just good for me personally and good for me professionally to be enjoying baseball as much as I can, even when I'm not, quote unquote, on the clock.
And I think just to, round up everything we've said here, and it goes back to what Tyler was saying at the top here for our goals. Baseball is in a very good spot right now. We're coming off one of the best World Series ever. We're coming off an extremely fun World Baseball Classic. The prospects, as we've seen in this first week, and we'll talk more about this next week, are off to a really, really good start in the major leagues and even some in AAA. Kelsie, you took Connor Griffin because he's done exceptionally well for Indianapolis. Things are trending in a very, very good direction. Take advantage of that. Like, give yourself permission, like Ben said, to have fun at the ballpark and enjoy this, what's feeling more and more by the week, a golden age. We've got guys like Shohei Ohtani having on-base streaks and scoreless streaks on the mound. We've got guys like Kevin McGonigal coming up and ripping balls. Jose Fernandez, who isn't even the top 100 prospect, hitting 2 homers in his debut. There's something that's going to surprise you, and there's something that's not going to be surprising but lives up to the hype. So go out and find those things. The only way you can do that is to get out to the ballpark or follow along. Follow along with this podcast. We'll bring you guys news as it comes up all season long. There's going to be stuff that surprises us. And we've probably, I don't even know, we could count how many years of experience are on this show right now. It would probably be close to 100.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you think about it, which is absolutely nuts. There's close to a century of minor league knowledge on this show right now. Thank you, Josh and Kelsie, for doing this again this year. It's always a blast to have you guys and draft our own teams. And I don't think we're going to hold a vote, but if you want to,
we're going to hold a vote. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna make a graphic. This is going on minor league baseball Instagram, MiLB Instagram. I've made an executive decision during this because I think I'm going to win. So we're going to make a graphic.
Wow.
I'm going to ask people it'll be voting in the comments, but yeah, give us your opinions and also tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what you would have done. We'd love to hear all of your opinions.
That's heavy pressure. Heavy pressure to close out this week's episode. The show.
I don't want to hear anybody's opinion.
A lot of
Too bad.
voting votes.
They're going to tell us
also
no matter
submit your
what.
opinion on how Josh pronounces the word Fayetteville. You can send that in as well. As we get set to say goodbye on this week's episode of the show before the show. My Zoom meeting has been frozen for like the last 45 minutes that we've all been talking. I'm sure you've both been making great facial expressions, Kelsie and Josh, throughout all of this, but I haven't gotten to see any of it. But I will say it's very strange every time we do the podcast in person to see Sam and Ben and think like, oh, those are the guys that are normally on my computer screen. And now you're 3-dimensional and we can interact. Is really the wonders of interacting with people in person, touching grass, as the kids say. That'll do it for this week's episode. Get in touch with this podcast at MiLB.com. And for Kelsie Heneghan, Josh Jackson, Benjamin Hill, and Sam Dykstra, my name is Tyler Maughan. Happy opening day to all of you across the minor league baseball world. We'll catch you next week.